Hello everyone, it's GatorFX and I'm going to be showing you my hypothetical 16-team playoffs. So let's get started. So the way we're going to figure this out is by using the rankings from last year's 2017 season, from after conference championship week. So we're going to go ahead and put our top 4 teams into the playoffs, and then we're going to put the 2 that were outside looking in at the 5 and 6 seed. So a big part of my hypothetical playoff is to include every conference champion from each FBS conference. So the winners from last year were UCF in the American Athletic, Toledo from the MAC, Florida Atlantic from Conference USA, Boise State from Mountain West, and Troy from Sun Belt. Even though Troy was co-champions with Appalachian State, Troy had the better strength of schedule, strength of record, and a better overall record, so that's why they get the nod. I ranked each of these group of 5 teams' strength of schedule and strength of record, and I'm going to put them in accordingly. So the team with the worst of the strength of schedule and strength of record was Troy, and they will get the 16th seed. Next will be Toledo, and then next will be FAU, and then next will be Boise State, and then finally UCF at the 12th seed. And just to clarify, no group of 5 team is restricted to the 12th through 16th seed. So if a team like UCF played Ohio State and Clemson and beat both of them, they have a chance to make it to the top 4 possibly. So now we're going to fill out the rest of the seeds accordingly to the playoff rankings. So we're going to have at the 11th seed, we're going to have Washington at the 11th seed, and then Miami to fill out next, and then we're going to have Penn State, and then we're going to have USC at the 8th, and we're going to have Auburn to finish it out at the 7th seed. So now let's figure out where and when these teams are actually going to play each other. So I've decided that we're going to have the top 8 seeds have home field advantage for the first round. So for hypothetical reasons, I picked random teams to move on to the next round. So we got Clemson, Penn State, Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Auburn, Georgia, and Washington. So for the second round, these teams will play in what was formerly known as the New Year's Six Bowls. So the Peach Bowl, Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl. And we're going to move on to the next round. I've picked random teams again. So we got Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, and Auburn playing each other. So in the semifinals, the top 4 teams will play in the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl. It's the same 2 locations as it was in real life. None of that will change. The same rotation between the bowl games will stay the same. So now let's move on to the final round, and we got Alabama and Georgia winning. So again, they will play each other in the national championship. And once again, Alabama is the winner in my hypothetical 16-team playoff. If there ever was a 16-team playoff, I would expect it to look something like this, with each conference having a representative in the playoff with a chance to compete for a national championship. So now let's go over the pros of a 16-team playoff. So first, smaller schools get a chance. Teams like FAU, UCF will have a chance to compete for a national championship by winning their own conference. This helps brings national exposure to these schools and more money coming in for the school as well. Next, recruiting could balance out, meaning top overall prospects who want to win immediately won't be buried in depth charts at schools like Alabama or Clemson. They can go to a smaller school like UCF and possibly have a chance to compete for a national championship while being able to play immediately. Lastly, more football means more money. More money for schools, TV channels, sponsorships, ads, you name it. And more football means more happy fans in the month of December. Lastly, let's go over the cons of a 16-team playoff. So, too many games equals fatigue and injuries. Football is a very physically demanding sport, and for a team to win a national title, they'd have to play 4 postseason games, which is a lot of wear and tear on your players and your coaches. Secondly, there will be no interest in regular bowl games. So what that means is for teams that don't make the college football playoff, they will have to play in the Alamo Bowl, the Gator Bowl, Birmingham Bowl, bowl games that really don't matter. And you're going to have players like seniors and NFL prospects that are going to skip those games because it really doesn't matter to them anymore. Lastly, schedule controversy. And this is a big one because for a team like Troy to get into the playoff over a team like Stanford, who was ranked just below UCF in the college football playoff rankings, that's going to cause a lot of controversy. And I would think that people would pick Stanford over Troy in a neutral site head-to-head game any day of the week. So it would cause a lot of controversy for the college football playoff, but even today, the college football playoff and the BCS were both very flawed and very controversial systems. So there's really been no perfect system for ranking teams. Thank you everyone for watching. Comment below whether you think a 16-team playoff would be a good or bad idea. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.